I'm going to introduce another one of our YPN members, Jamie Moniz, and she's going to be giving an introduction for our next speaker. So if you would, take your seats, and we're going to have Jamie take it away. Yeah, just start. Yeah, just call Shannon. You call Shannon.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Jamie Moniz. I'm the Vice Chair of YPN of Oahu. Another benefit of YPN is that at every event you have a chance to meet another YPN and other realtors. Our next event is this Saturday, which is the Realtor Olympics. It's going to be at Kapiolani Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have 6 teams of 5 members who will compete and 3 different relays. The winner will get to take home a trophy, and then the next year it'll be passed to the next winner. You can visit and like our Facebook page at facebook.com YPN of Oahu, or our Instagram page at YPN of Oahu. At this time, I have the pleasure of introducing Shannon King. She's an active voice for the real estate industry, serving the National Association of Realtors since 2005 in various positions. As a socialpreneur, Shannon King has co-founded Schoolhouse Realty, a community-based company that gives 10% of its proceeds to schools. Prior to that, she owned Tribella Realty in Austin, Texas. Shannon was also in Realtor Magazine 30 Under 30 class of 2005. She has appeared on HGTV and has a book, Real Estate Road Warrior, 101 Technology Tools for Business on the Go. Please welcome Shannon King.
Thank you, Jamie. How are y'all? Good. So, from the y'all, any guesses where I'm from? That's right, born and raised Texan, but I am lucky enough to live here. I moved here a year ago. My husband is an officer in the Navy, 23 years, so we are lifetime. Yeah, thank you guys. So I'm going to give you a little background before I get started, and then we'll get going. I started in real estate right out of, I was a school teacher, 4th grade school teacher, and I started flipping houses and got licensed because I was tired of paying real estate fees. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Yeah? But what I realized is my clients started asking me how to do it, and slowly I realized I loved training agents. And so I started my own company. I had offices all over Texas, and I was loving it. Business was great. This was in the early 2000s. This was on the rise before the big crash. Who in here sold real estate during the crash? Yeah. So what happened to me is I got married in 2007 and moved to San Diego, California, opened an office there, still ran my companies in Texas, and then the real estate market crashed. And I had brick and mortar offices. So I had all the overhead, right, of it. You know, I had my staff, I had the electricity, the copy machines, the phone systems, you name it. My bills were high. And when my agents stopped selling, not to the fault of themselves, but to the market, I still had those bills. And what I realized is I was bleeding, guys. My money was going out the door and nothing was coming in, and I had to make drastic changes. And I didn't want to fire people, but I needed to look at new ways to employ them. So no longer have brick and mortar, right? My employees started working from home so I could pay them less. They didn't have to work from 9 to 5. They could work as they wanted to, right? So I made a lot of changes. And so out of that, I had to, the way I was able to do that was utilizing technology. And out of that came this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you guys kind of some things that I do in my daily business, tips and tools that you can use to save yourself money and prepare yourself for the next downturn. How many of you think there might be a downturn coming at some point? Real estate's cyclical. So it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next year, it may be 2 years from now. But what are you doing right now to prepare for it? Okay, so let's take a look at this. How many steps are there in a real estate transaction? Don't look. All eyes up here. All eyes up here. Don't look. If you looked and you know the answer, don't say it. How many steps are there? I can't hear you. Too many. I like that answer. 5? Come on, guys. 20? 50? So according to the Orlando Association of Realtors, there are over 200 steps in the real estate transaction. Wow. Okay, guys, do you understand when your clients, you're sitting down at the listing presentation or you're meeting with your buyers for the very first time and they ask you to reduce your commission? Has that ever happened to you? Do you understand your value proposition? Because if you did not know there's over 200 steps in the real estate transaction, you probably don't. It is our job to articulate what we do for our clients and how we earn our money. If you don't know what you earn per hour, then I challenge you after this class to go back and look at a typical transaction and to take into account every phone call, every text message, everything you're overseeing for that transaction, right? And calculate out after your broker split and all of your fees going out to marketing and so forth, how much money you're really bringing home. Because when you're at that table with your clients and they ask you to reduce the commission, you can say to them, well, let me ask you this. You know, I've been in business for 17 years and I guarantee I'm going to get you top dollar. I'll probably be able to sell your house for higher than any other agent on this island. Okay, you can say that, right? Because you're confident. And you can say, now, what do you pay your attorney or your CPA or your doctor, other professionals? And you can say, I can tell you on average a price point for this, there's going to be over 52 people involved in the transaction. You're going to deal with me and your lender, and that's it. I'm going to be the go-between. There's over 200 steps in the transaction that I'm going to oversee, and I'm going to spend over 35 hours on it, or whatever your time is. And so that comes down to me making over, roughly $62 an hour. Now that sounds pretty fair if I'm going to get you top dollar, don't you think? Right? Do y'all not agree? It's being able to educate our consumers on our value proposition. It is so important in today's world. So make sure when you go home, you understand what it is. Because right now, we're in the world of Amazon. Who in here heard about Amazon? What did Amazon do? They just bought Whole Foods. It changed the grocery market industry on its head, right? Completely different ballgame now. What's going on in our industry? Zillow Offers. Who in here has heard of Zillow Offers? It's a pilot program going on in Orlando and Vegas right now. And what happens is a seller wants to sell their home. They go onto Zillow, they post the pictures, they put the price point in, and it goes out for auction. 5 days later, they can go in as the offers come through, and they can see all the offers coming through. Their auction's over in 5 days. They choose which offer they want to use. Now, where are you involved in that transaction? You're not. Zillow is offering a platform for sellers to sell their home without you. And if you think this isn't going to happen here in this market, you're wrong. Okay? It's not just Zillow. Amazon last week now has a landing page for real estate that's very similar to this. They haven't launched it yet, so it'll be interesting to watch it. But guys, that's changing our industry, just like the travel industry changed 10 years ago. These are real changes. Another big change, this is huge in the South, Texas, Atlanta, Florida, self-showings. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm a buyer, and I want to buy a home, and so I go on to selfshowings.com, and I type in my name, my employer, my social security number, my income. I drop in my approval letter from my lender that says I'm approved for $800,000, and then I get in my car, and half of the houses in these marketplaces have these signs, and they pull up, and it says self-showing. I open the app, I click on let yourself in. You get a text message that gives you the combo code, an email sent to the agent and to the homeowner that says XYZ person is entering your home right now. They no longer need you to show them houses. Wow. This will come to this marketplace, and it will change. So if you think you're getting paid for being a taxi driver, you're wrong, because that game's over. And we have to find a new way to show our value to our clients. This one's huge. Who in here sells to people on the mainland? Okay, guys, Are you selling real estate in this room? Who in here sells to people on the mainland? Show of hands. Yeah. What about California specifically? I believe 30% of buyers on the island come from basically the West Coast, right? So that's a lot. This is huge. Home light. This is one thing that you can take back. For those of you that came, I think this is a tip. Go to homelight.com and sign yourself up. So it's out there right now. Before you sign yourself up, what you do is you pretend you're a buyer or a seller, and you say, I want to buy in Kaneohe, and my sales price is $900,000. It will instantly pull the feed from all the realtors for the last 5-6 years in Kaneohe, and it will tell you at the $900,000 price point the top agents that sold in that neighborhood. So it pulls from the data, and not only that, it also pulls all of the agent reviews. So from Yelp, from Google, from Zillow, it pulls them all in, and so it's right there for the clients to see, oh, this agent has 200 reviews. They click on it, they can read it, and they can see their status. Wow. But you guys need to go in, make your own profile, put your picture in, make sure that the statistics are right. You can go in and upload and add. Maybe you've done a lot of new home sales. You can add that in there yourself, okay? Because people from the mainland are using this to find their agents now. And they will be using it and have been using it to find their agent here on the island. So these are things that are happening now. What are the disruptors of the future? And how are you going to stay relevant in the conversation? Now, I'm lucky because my husband and I move every couple years. And so being in real estate, I naturally buy houses every couple years. So I am constantly a client. And so I'm going to share with you guys the perspective of a home buyer on Oʻahu. Okay? A year ago, we moved to the island, and the first thing we did, but prior to coming, was trying to find an agent. Now, how many of you have ever had a client call you from somewhere else that was maybe a lead and left a message and said, hey, I'm interested in XYZ property. Do you mind giving me a call back? Has anybody ever had a client call them? Raise your hand, guys. Come on. Okay. Did you call him back? Well, then I didn't call you. Because I don't know how many agents I called on this island that did not return my call. Now, this is an opportunity for you guys, but I'm not kidding. When I text about a property or send an email, the response rate was terrible. I'm serious. I even told Kwame, I said, I think I should be a secret buyer for brokers on the island. They could hire me, and I could tell them which agents actually responded, because it's very little. Now, I think if I were selling a house at my price point, or, if somebody called about my price point, I'd probably respond. So let's take a look at what your clients are looking for. Number one, they want response. They want frequent and often communication. Ask your clients, how do you like best to be communicated with? Is it via text, via email, right? And communicate with them that way. The other thing is, if they do use email, who in here, show of hands, uses Gmail as your main email? Not that many, I'm surprised. How many of you use like a Microsoft Outlook? Okay, so it's about half and half. So Rapportive is one of the tools that I use that I absolutely adore. It's an add-on. So you can go to rapportive.com, and this is for Gmail. But what's great about Rapportive is if you add it into your email, on the right-hand side of your emails, you will see the profile of the person. When you click on an email, you receive it from your client. You click on it, automatically on the right-hand side, you see all their social media updates. So you can see their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter account. Now, why is that important? Because in this industry, in our business, our job is to connect with our clients on a personal level. And so this allows us to do that. Because when the client emails you and says, hey, do you have a good plumber? You can say, oh, yes, go ahead and call, whatever the plumber's name is. And oh, also, by the way, congrats on the new kittens. They are so cute, right? But you didn't have to stop, go to their Facebook page, see what's going on, or spend any time doing that. It just showed up on their email on the right-hand side in that feed. So it's a great way for you to stay in touch on a personal level with clients constantly. The next one is Boomerang. Now, this is a time-saving tool. Anybody in here use Boomerang or heard of it? Okay, so Boomerang is fantastic because it allows you to preset emails. So let's say you have a client who is a brand new, newly under contract, okay? Actually, before I go here, let me ask you guys a question. Who in here remembers your first transaction? Show of hands. Who in here remembers the one you most recently completed? And do you remember writing the exact same email both times? So congratulations, you're under contract. Now we need to get earnest money over to the title company, and we need to set up an inspection, and make sure you contact your lender and make sure you're still approved, right? So you have that same exact conversation every time. And then the next day, you send them an email that says, make sure you contact an insurance company and blah, 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 right? Those can be preset emails. So you can use Boomerang where you're not having to retype it every time. You just copy and paste and drop it in there. And you can say, send this email on Monday, send this email on Tuesday, this one on Wednesday, and you don't have to think about it. It automatically goes out, and you can say, send it at 10 a.m. or at 2 p.m., right? The other thing that's great is when you get emails, how many of you have gotten an email and you know it's important, so you left it in your inbox, and then you go back and try to find it and can't find it? Yeah, Boomerang. So what you say is, you know what? I know I need to respond to this. I don't have the information I need right now or the time. So I'm going to set it through Boomerang to pop back up in my inbox tomorrow morning at 9 because I'll be in the office and I'll be able to respond to it. So you don't forget it and you don't lose it, right? So Boomerang is definitely a tool all of us in here should be using. BombBomb, because we are on an island and some of our clients come from the mainland, I've never sold more houses to clients that I've never met than before living here, right? And so the way I get to know them is through BombBomb. So BombBomb is a video program that is fitted into your email. Super easy. You just record yourself in an email that says, you know, I'm excited to help you make your first offer. Let me walk you through it. And you can tell them all the different sections, you know, that are important. Or you can say, hey, I'm excited to work with you. Here's my assistant. So it's a way to make yourself personal for clients, whether you've met them or not. It's a fantastic tool, is BombBomb. How many of you use this app, HomeSpotter? Guys, this is a benefit for being a member of HBR. And this was one of the apps that my agent last year that I ended up using introduced me to. I loved it. The thing I loved about it is when I was out looking, this is what I used when I was driving around the neighborhood. And I'd find the house, and I could text my agent right then and there and say, hey, I need more information on this, or can you set up a showing? And it was a way for me to communicate with her. So it's fantastic. And I will tell you, as a buyer, if you are not using this, you should be using this with your buyers, okay? It's a fantastic tool, and it's free. So let's give it, I guess HBR, all of you guys are members, let's give them a round of applause, seriously, for that, because that's a free membership. Perk. All right. This one. This is big on the mainland. On your listings, there needs to be a way for the clients to get information that doesn't involve your time. Text for information. There's all different companies. The one I've always used is Drive-By Technologies. You can use whatever you want. You pay $10 for the phone number, and then you get 10 signs. It's really easy, per month. So you put the sign on your listing, and it's basically information that when a client wants information on the house, they text you. I'd like more information on this listing, please. Instantly, it sends them whatever it is you want, whether it's the PDF of the listing, or if it's more information on square footage. But the great thing is it also sends you a text message right away that says this person's interested in your house. And if you happen to be in the neighborhood, you can respond to them and say, I can be there in 5 minutes to show it to you, right? Clients want instant access, and they don't want to wait around for you to get back to them. So this is a way that you can get them information right away without having to utilize your time, okay? Super easy, super cheap, highly recommend it. We talked about this already, the showings. Another thing that's happening in other marketplaces are showing agents. So if anybody's entrepreneurial, a broker out there who wants to take this on, I like this idea. Basically, it's when you're busy. It never fails. When you're super busy, your day is packed, and you get that client that says, the perfect house has come up. I can see it today at 2. And you're like, but I can't show it at 2. Right? Who in here has ever had that problem? We've all had it, right? And so with showing agents, this is a company that when you're in a bind, you just pay them $25, and agents there to open the door for your clients, okay? That's happening on the mainland as well. I highly recommend when you're listing a property, have a website, a personalized website for that property. It's super easy. It's going to cost you all of maybe $5 per property, and you'll stand out. So you have on the top of the sign writer, www.123mainstreet.com. The client can go there, get information, see the videos. The company I use is Wix, Wix.com. It's free. And guys, it's super easy. You just drag and drop. It's preset. If you can open a Word document, you can use this, okay? Super easy way to build a website. And if you want to build your own personal website, this is a great company to use. Matterport 3D Tours, your broker may or may not have it, but a great add-on to your listings, another way to set yourself apart. Instead of just having pictures, actually have the 3D tours of the properties. All right, another big one, and this comes into time saving for you guys. Another big one is clients want a streamlined process. I will tell you, as a buyer here, it was very overwhelming. Your contracts are very laborious. More so than I've been licensed in 6 states, but more so than any other state I've lived in. There are tons of action items in our contracts. We have to respond here. We have to sign that we received the seller's disclosure. We have to sign that we accept the seller's disclosure. There's tons of stuff to do. So having a streamlined process for a client to make it easy is very helpful, and to make it easy for you. So one of the things that I recommend doing, I use Google, and I love Google Docs. I integrate everything in Google Docs. But when a client emails me and says, hey, I'm interested in buying a home, I send them a link. Well, it says an email that says, I'm so excited to work with you. I can meet with you on Tuesday at 4 or Thursday at 4 or whatever it is. And if you don't mind, take a moment and fill this out for me so I know what you're looking for. It has a link, and it goes into a Google form. And this Google form is their wish list. Now, the reason I have them fill this out is so first time I meet with them, I know what they're looking for. But more importantly, I'm capturing a bunch of information. Their name, their birthday, their phone number, their email, their spouse's birthday, their kid's birthday. I ask for all that. And then what's fantastic is I use this app. This is an add-on. It's called Zapier. Now, what's cool about Zapier is just one time I go in on the background and I connect that past form with my contact management platform. So if you use Contactually or Top Producer, or if you use MailChimp, I mean, it doesn't matter what you use for your CRM, but what happens is all of that information, as my client enters it in, Zapier magically uploads it to wherever I want it to go. So it's automatically in my Google Contacts, it's automatically in my MailChimp, it's automatically in Top Producer, and I didn't have to input it. Not only that, it also has a question in there that self-identifies. They know that it's a buyer prospect. And depending on the form I send, it's a buyer prospect from a referral, or it's a prospect from an open house. So it automatically drops into that drip campaign, so I know they're an open house client. I don't even have to push go. All of a sudden, they start getting emails from me every 3 days because it's automated using Zapier. Okay, time-saving prospecting, it is huge. Now, going back to those laborious contracts and all the work we have to do, we do earn our money here on the island, I tell you. How many of you love making your timelines based on the contract? Come on, what's wrong with you guys? You love it, right? Love it. So this is called Folio, Folio, Folio. Now this only works with Gmail users. Sorry for those of you that aren't, but if you're not, you may just want to get a Gmail account for this. Let me show you. I gotta take a break. Hold on. So, what's great about this is your clients have a portal that has this beautiful timeline that has all the dates. Right? And so you can see there, you see the resources on the right-hand side. Those resources, I can't read them. That's what happens when you turn 40, your eyes go. So right here on the right-hand side, it says insurance quotes, cable, change of address, HECO. So my clients can go click on each one of those. They can change their electricity, change their address there. I add all that stuff in myself, right? Right above that, you can't see it on here, but there's also service providers. So it has their inspector's name, it has the title company's information, it has their lender's name. It's all on one page. They get us a link to this pretty website. And it tells them 28 days till closing. And the dates change automatically. Next day it'll say 27. It's really cool. And then this is what it looks like in your email. So when you get an email from a client, click on it, or let's say it's from the lender for that client, or it's from the title company from that client, automatically on your right-hand side of your Gmail pops up that timeline. You don't have to do anything. So on the right-hand side of your page, you know where you are and what day it is. Not only that, you can see the number of contacts. So for this particular property, there's 15 people involved in the transaction that I've been communicating with, and there's 10 files. So every single attachment for that contract is right there. If I am looking for the seller's disclosure, instead of reading through all my emails, I just click on the files, it's in there. Super easy way to find it. Y'all like that? Yeah, and your clients have access to it too. They can see all those files. You no longer have to send them an email or a Dropbox link. It's all there. Okay, so fantastic way to stay on top of it. So this is how you do it. Right up at the top of your Gmail, you see where you would have your folders. You just click down, you choose your property, and let's say we want to create a smart folder. So we type in the address for our smart folder, and guys, what's cool is it auto-populates. You can just write 242 Akane, and then it auto-populates and knows it's in Kailua. And then you choose who's involved in the transaction. You identify who they are, and then, you identify who they are, and then you'll see the next step will take you to add dates to timelines, or you can click on the right-hand side where it says add date. And what's great, it already auto-populates. So I just wrote DE, and deposit pops up. I put the date. You can't see because deposit's blocking it. But what's cool about this is if you don't know the date, because our contracts usually say closing date is 45 days from day of acceptance, right? You know the day it was accepted, you'll say closing date, and you just type in 45, and it automatically calculates that date for you. Or the seller's disclosure is due within 5 days. It automatically calculates that date. You don't have to look at a calendar and be wrong by calculating. Because I made that mistake. Anybody? Yeah. And our contracts allow for that. But this is the cool thing about this, is it instantly populates into my Gmail calendar. I don't have to go in and set it up on my Gmail calendar to send me reminders. It did it for me. So there is, and you can't see right there, but there is a calendar, the green ones, everything in green is for all of my transaction stuff. So all my reminders are on there. It also connects to your clients' calendars. So they have those reminders. And every morning, it sends you an email that says deposit is due today. So you really don't have to think. Who in here likes this? Yeah. Did you have a question? Uh-huh. So she's asking, if I represent the buyer, she represents the seller, and we both have the app, does it keep it separate? Yes. You only see what's in your inbox, right? I only see what's in mine. And so you have to set this up on your end to send to your clients. And there's a button, I don't know if I have it right here, but there's obviously a button, let me see where it is, that says, I probably didn't take a screenshot of it. Well, you can see right below 28 days before closing, the 3 pictures and the little person. You can click and add people, but they only see the timeline and the resources. They don't see your emails. They can see your files, but they don't see your emails. And it's only the people you share it with. So I can share this with the listing agent, but I would never share this with the listing agent's clients, right? But the listing agent can make their own file and share it with their clients. So to me, this is a huge time saver. Keeping your clients on track. It's a really nice, simple tool for them to use. Who in here finds that helpful? Anybody? Good. All right. Well, I could go on for hours, but I only have a limited time. So thank you guys for having me here today. If you need me, you can reach me. My email address is shannon@shannonwking.com. I obviously love this stuff. I'm a junkie on it, so feel free to tag me.